So thank you all for joining today. It's a really lovely day. I'm in Toronto and it is beautiful sunny day here. So that always makes me feel good. So for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Lisette. I head up the strategic solutions and innovation team at ST. And I am so excited to talk to you all today because things are really bad for fundraisers right now. Right? As acquisitions getting tougher, we're struggling to appeal to younger folks. Um, Lots of things changed during the pandemic. Inflation means more people need help, and it's costing more to help them. You would think with all these sort of these hits, right? All these hits coming, you would think this would get us down, and in particular, at ST, maybe get us down. Absolutely not. Not me and not ST. Now, I am an eternal optimist, as those of you who know me well understand, but I'm also a strategist. And so I look at all of these troubles and I think of innovation. And that really is my guiding light. And we need to find new ways to fundraise, new innovations to overcome these hits. And that is exciting. And that's what makes me a little bit punchy today to talk to you about this. So let's dive right in. Um, and I think, Carolina, you're going to be monitoring the chat, right? So if you have any questions, just please put them into the chat anytime you'd like. I will stop periodically and just ask if there's any questions and try to answer them maybe as we go, okay? So today I'm going to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to talk about how ST is already innovating. Our mission at ST, what we kind of live and breathe here, is helping all of you to raise more money. So I want to talk about how we're already innovating, both in embracing new ideas and also making old ideas new again. Have a really interesting new product to talk to you about. I'm also going to talk about innovation, revenue acceleration, and I have the pleasure of introducing our innovation team. And so first, I'm going to start off just with a few minutes talking about ST's Jam Collective. Many of you may have heard me talk about this a little bit. This is our new logo for the Jam Collective. You may well recognize the words JAM, which stand for just about monthly, are created from to look like magnets. And that is really the idea around Jam Collective. And it was really created because ST saw at an industry-wide level that fundraisers were really faced with several problems. We got quite alarmed talking to clients, seeing clients' results in the cost to acquire a monthly donor. It was going up, and in some cases to really unsustainable levels. And after the pandemic, charities started getting back into the face-to-face channel around monthly donor acquisition, and that was even higher cost for acquisition. But there was far less attention being paid at trying to keep these donors and increase their value. And that was where how Jam Collective really got created out of that insight. Jam Collective is all about focused, when you look at the math of monthly donors, Jam Collective is all about focusing on keeping those donors longer and getting those donors to increase their value. So donate a 13th gift, increase the size of their monthly gift, maybe leave a legacy to the charity. All those ways that monthly donors are so valuable to an organization. Jam Collective is focused on helping to improve those metrics. So there are, and there are some benchmarks out there around monthly donor acquisition metrics and a bit around retention, but there are no benchmarks out there that really look at the donor journey and the KPIs or the metrics that go with it. So what caused that particular charity or those charities to get that result out of their retention of their monthly donors? And that is really what Jam Collective looks like. It looks at how are donors being retained, how are monthly donors being retained, how are they being upgraded, and how effective are those activities? And it measures those and benchmarks those. And it really starts with trying to benchmark, looking to document monthly donor journeys, mystery shop those, and then benchmark them against everybody else that's in the collective. So the other part about Jam, which is really kind of interesting, is that when you look at monthly donor retention and acquisition, not a lot of testing is done in that. It's difficult. File sizes are often too small to get really statistically relevant results. It takes a long time to get results because the donor journey could last, several weeks, several months, a year, 2 years. So it's really challenging to sometimes do a lot of testing and see results. And the JAM Collective has been set up to really accelerate that testing and that learning so that each of the different participants tests different things and learns about them, and then shares the results of those testings with the rest of the collective. So JAM is all about retention and upgrade of monthly donors. Any kind of sustainer donors as well. I mean, we have some of our participants who also have annual sustainers. Some of them have quarterly sustainers as well as monthly. So we're looking at all of those types of sustainer or recurring donors. And Gem Collective is designed to overcome all of those. So, this idea of Jam, which is just about monthly or just about, recurring donors, and the idea of the collective, that together fundraisers are stronger. When we band together, we can overcome some of the hurdles that are inherent in the industry just because of things that are out of our control sometimes. So not-for-profits can learn faster, we can improve results faster, we can keep donors longer by sharing what each of us is doing, what we're testing, and what we're learning together. So that's kind of the whole sort of philosophy around JAM. When we created JAM Collective, it's in its first year. We've just finished our first year of our pilot. It's a 2-year program. So we just finished our first year of it, and we're working on our benchmarking report right now. It's going to be available soon. The other industry-wide challenge that we are seeing and hearing a lot of from our clients is that it's getting harder for our clients to find new donors. What can we at ST do about that? How can we help innovate in the industry to help that issue, help our clients find new ways to find new donors? And, if we know some things to be true, fundraisers are stronger when we work together, and that data is driving everything. How can we apply those insights to acquiring new donors? And here's kind of where we decided to innovate old school, right? Anyone recognize these particular media here? Who remembers the Open and Save Co-op envelope, Valpak, the Sears catalog polybag? These are all examples of a co-op media where advertisers are sharing the cost of participating in one communication going out to consumers. Speaking of which, I went out looking for images to show of these different packages, and when I was looking for the Sears catalog images, I found this one on eBay. And when I think about how many Sears catalog samples I used to have in my office back in the day, they are asking for $85 for this 1997 Sears catalog edition on eBay right now, which I thought was fascinating. So I wish I had those stacks of samples that I still had in my office back in the day when I used to put multiple clients in every single one of these types of media. I used these media as very effective acquisition tactics for 20 years for all kinds of different clients. We used to get about 10% of the response rate of a solo direct mail, but the dramatically reduced cost and the huge quantities made up the difference. But then digital kind of has taken over, co-ops fell out of fashion, catalogs closed, printed catalogs versions closed. I think the only one left might be Valpak, and even that one might just be in the US. There certainly isn't a whole lot going on in Canada. But we at ST think there's possibility in this old school idea of a co-op envelope. So we're going to create one, and we're going to create one just for fundraisers. I want to introduce to you the ST co-op envelope. The idea here is one branded outer envelope that is addressed, that appeals to the donor's desire to have more of the donations go to help the cause and intrigue them to get inside the envelope. An address letter that's going to speak to the charity's desire to keep the cost of fundraising low. 8 different charities in the package. Each has their own perfed coupon or voucher in the piece that is double-sided. So where they can put their marketing messaging on one side, and then on the other side is the response form. And then one BRE, where all of the responses, if they want to mail back the actual filled in coupon, they can put them into one BRE. It'll go to one vendor. We'll talk about that in a second. Or they can always go online directly to each of the charities' websites. They could scan a QR code to go directly to the charity's website and donate online. This is what the pieces of the co-op envelope will contain. And we are going to mail out to, because I mentioned it's going to be addressed, we're going to mail out to a combination of rented lists. And here we're going to be using Carolina and ST's in-house list brokerage that focuses solely on the not-for-profit space, only one in Canada. So rented list recommended and created by Carolina. And the other part of the file we're going to mail to will be lapsed donor data from each charity. So each charity will agree to having put their creative under the coupon and then supply lapsed donor data that will contribute to the final mailing list. Everything will be deduped accordingly. And that is going to mail out. So I'm going to take a few questions in a minute, but I just want to talk to you, show you a little bit about what this is going to look like. So the idea behind the ST co-op envelope, it's an affordable cost. It's higher mail quantity. The idea is that this is shared risk and reward for all of the different participants as well as ST. It's addressed mail. Data is going to be that combination of third-party lists and lapsed donors, and one caging vendor to process all the donations. And in this case, we are so proud and so pleased to have KCK Global partnering with us on this. They are going to be that caging vendor for the mailing, and they've agreed to do this at no cost. At no cost for the pilot for this project. So they're they're being a huge partner with this, and we're really pleased to have them on board. Let me talk a little bit about what this is going to be. We've come up with a name and we have a logo for what this is going to be called. All right. Sticking, here we go. I was sticking. So we're calling it the Give Back Pack. And this is the logo. So Give Back Pack, it's reminiscent of Valpak, Open and Save, those kind of traditional kinds of co-op names, but it has the actual kind of call to action right in the name, Give Back Pack. So we think this works really nicely. And this is the name of our new co-op envelope. So ta-da, you guys are the first people who are hearing about the name today. So well done, you. And I just want to talk a little bit about how the cover letter is going to talk about this to the donor. So they get this package in the mail. They open it up. It has a cover letter in it. Dear Julia Donor, have I successfully found you? A concerned Canadian who wants to help build a better world? I hope so. I've been a fundraiser for over 30 years. I talk to a lot of donors like you. Here's something I hear quite often. I get a lot of fundraising mail. The charities are all good organizations, but I worry about the cost of all those letters. Wouldn't it be great if they could find me without sending a whole letter? I know there are emails, but I prefer the feel of real paper. Well, we found a solution to address that very concern. The envelope you just opened is that solution. 8 of Canada's best charities coming together to save costs while inspiring you to give. It's called the Give Back Pack, and the 8 charities are, and we've listed 8 charities here. These are not the participants. These are all ST clients, who we would love to have be part of the co-op envelope. But this is just for example purposes. So it's called the Give Back Pack, and the 8 charities are. You may well decide to support 1, 2, 3, or even all of them. There are several ways you can donate. You can fill out the charity slips and return them with a check or your credit card number in the postage-free envelope. That goes back to our bonded and secure mailing partner, KCK Global, and they pass along your donations to each charity. The charities will send you your tax receipt. Or even better, you can scan the QR code or donate directly, go online to their website or telephone. Isn't this a great idea? As a longtime experienced fundraiser, I'm thrilled to present you an opportunity to support some of Canada's best charities and keep their costs low. Give Back Pack. It's win-win, don't you think? On behalf of these 8 charities, their staff, volunteers, and most importantly, those they serve, I thank you. So that's the cover letter. It's not in position or anything right now in a layout, but that's the copy that's going to be in the cover letter. And then we get to the coupon voucher pages. I know this is small. Most of it is Latin. The type is Latin, so you don't need to worry too much about what it says. But this is to show you an example, just to show you what the coupon page would look like. One side would be for the messaging, you're making your case of why the consumer should donate to you. And then on the other side is the call to action and the response form. And there will be 2 of these pages. So there'll be 8 charities in this in total. We have also been working out with our printers and with our vendors. We're not sure if there is a premium position to be had with where you are on the coupon page, whether the top coupon placement is the best or if it doesn't matter. And so what we're going to do is we're going to perfect ABCD split the position for all 4 of the people that I'll put the organizations that are on this voucher page. AB split them so that 1/4 of the mailing Alzheimer's will be on top. 1/4 of the mailing cystic fibrosis will be on top. Canadian Cancer Society, Eco Justice, you sort of get what I mean. They'll move positions down. So we'll be able to get a sense for, is there a position that really is maybe worth more to a particular organization. So that is what the co-op envelope roughly looks like. We are very, very close, probably within the next few days. We'll be finalizing a complete package of a prototype package that we can share with you if you're interested in participating. Give you some more detail. Talk a little bit about some of the other details we're looking at here. So this is a pilot program for ST. Our first mailing date will be November 2024. We are aiming to have a total mail quantity of 100,000. So 100,000 addressed envelopes out into the mail. National distribution. Okay, so across Canada, but English only. We're looking for 8 charities to participate in this. And the cost per charity is $30,000. Okay. That is exclusive of taxes. And that is an all-in cost. So there's no additional cost for postage, no additional cost for, list rentals or return mail, anything like that. That's all included in that cost. Okay. So the only thing that the charity has to provide is the creative for the front and the back of the coupon, and 10,000 lapsed donor names to contribute to the distribution of the to contribute to the final mailing list. If you don't have 10,000 lapsed donors, but you're really interested, still call us, because we can talk about that. If you've got 8,000, if you've got maybe a few less, let's sort of talk, let's talk about what that means and how we might be able to do that. But those are all the details around the co-op envelope at this moment. So before I move forward and talk a little bit more about how we're going to continue to innovate and bring these exciting ideas out to the marketplace, I'm going to pause there and just say, Carolina, is there any questions?
Yes, we have one question in the chat. Is
Yeah,
there a category exclusivity in the Give Backpack? And then
right.
some questions in the Q&A.
Okay. Okay. So, is there category exclusivity? So that is a very good question. We have decided not to provide category exclusivity in this co-op envelope for this first one. That being said, it really depends on what you consider to be category exclusivity. So again, let's talk about that. Um, but at a high level, no, we are not providing category exclusivity. So we're not just taking one health charity, for example. We will take multiple. We will take multiple health charities. So at that level, we will not provide category exclusivity. Sorry, and then the Q&A. Just check that.
Who is
Okay.
the signatory in the
Yeah.
letter?
Okay. So the signatory of the letter right now, the signatory of the letter is going to be Paula Atfield, but not Paula Atfield as a the CEO of ST, but Paula Atfield as a longtime donor to multiple charities, and Paula Atfield as someone who is a real person and who knows the charity world very well, and we think is absolutely above any kind of scrutiny. And then Andrea, you're also asking, do you have a purge rate? If a charity provides 10,000 lapsed records, will these be purged out at a certain rate? Carolina, can you answer that question actually?
Yeah, if using
Everything is included in the cost. So
so if you're talking about the merge purge retention rate, it would be randomized. So it will be everyone will have the same number of records purged, and we will keep a set quantity in total. But only probably we'll be looking at 70% retention rates out of the lapse data. And there's one more question in the chat.
right, I see that. Sonia's asking, are we doing rental lists for this pilot? Yes. We ideally what we hope to have is we hope to have half of the mailing list be rented lists, and half of the mailing list come from the lapsed donor data from each of the participants. So that's what we're going for. It probably won't split out exactly that way, but we're going for a 50-50 split. So what I would say to you around this is that we're still we're in the process now of selling placements into this. We're only taking 8 in the pilot, and quite excited about it. We've had a lot of interest in this, and we have existing ST clients already who have put this into their budget line for next year, which is fantastic. And we're working now to get contracts and all kinds of things organized and set up for this. So if you want to know more information around this, you can reach out to me directly. Absolutely. You can also reach out to Donna Richardson, who I believe most of you know, and we can set up a meeting to come and talk to you about this in more detail and answer all your questions. So I want to talk a little bit, just checking the chat. Oh, so Sharon, you're asking, just wondering what you're expecting for response rates? Yeah, we're expecting, typically with this, I would expect each charity, so each charity participating in this to get right now, and we can share with you some numbers if you want, based on your your actual, I can run some numbers for you based on your actual results in terms of total what your average monthly donor size is, like what the value of each, you know, how much they give you each month, that kind of thing. So I can work all that out for you and show you some numbers specific to your numbers. But we are projecting a 0.02% response. That's 0.0002%, I think is how it works out. And so roughly what that means is about 200 responders for each charity, 200 donations to each charity, donor for each charity through this co-op envelope. That's what the working numbers we're working with right now. Yeah, Sonia, the math is um it will depend on it's going to depend very much on the data that we get, right? So I think that to your question that in the chat, Sonia's asked, I'm not getting the math with the 50/50 rental lapse list if you want 8 charities giving 10K lapse lists each. Yeah, the idea here is there might be some people who are duplicated on multiple lapsed files. Well, those in our mind are likely higher to respond, so we would prioritize those donors. So we're asking for a lot of names from each donor from a lapsed file because we just don't quite know how it's all going to sort out. Okay. So, okay, perfect. So I think I've answered all the questions at this point now around that. So let me move on to the next part. And this really it really talks to and speaks to what I mentioned earlier about the world changing really quickly. And fundraisers really needing new ideas. And so ST, building on the success we've had with JAM, hopefully on the success that we're going to have with our fundraising only co-op envelope, we see these as viable solutions to help address some of these really sector-wide challenges that charities and our clients are facing. So what we're doing is we have created an innovation engine. And, you know, we think, who better to do this? Who better to think of new ways to fundraise than the agency that pioneered direct mail fundraising 43 years ago? They've led the way for so many years. And now we're looking to lead the way again through this innovation engine that's going to tackle these sector-wide problems. There's lots of smaller ways to innovate through little like an offer test within a mail, like that. We're talking, this innovation engine is created to really look at sector-wide issues and challenges and humps and hurdles that we have, and how do we overcome those, and what are some solutions we can bring to the table to do that. So, you know, ST's mission, this is our mission, and with the innovation engine, we want to help not-for-profits raise more money. The innovation engine is really our mission is going to be to help not-for-profits navigate and raise more money in this rapidly changing environment. We're different from a consulting firm who waits for organizations to bring them their problems. So while we can and will focus on an organization's unique challenges, our goal is to proactively develop innovative solutions to these sector-wide challenges. So just like we're already doing with Jam Collective, helping charities keep monthly donors longer and get them to give more, and now the co-op envelope, looking for innovative solutions to drive new donor acquisition, we have a team now who's going to be dedicated to thinking about these challenges and proactively coming at those sector-wide challenges and coming to you with some ideas. So we have identified really 3 territories that we want to explore, that our innovation team is really going to explore. The first one is a collective. The idea here is that charities are stronger and better when they work together. They can continuously define best practices, they can accelerate learning, they decrease costs, they raise more money. The Jam Collective and the Co-op Envelope are perfect examples of this idea of a collective, a strategic approach of a collective, helping charities work together for the benefit of all all of the charities that are part of it. So that's our first innovation territory that we're looking at. The second one is power unions. Um, think of this like a dating app for charities and business. Except with ST as your therapist, making sure you don't get a divorce. Finding and optimizing those powerful corporate foundation and charity relationships to build brand value for sure and drive fundraising. But to do that on an ongoing basis, not just one-offs. So here we're looking at can we create a new model for peer-to-peer fundraising? Right? Peer-to-peer fundraising took a big hit during the pandemic because, of course, we couldn't do face-to-face. And at that kind of community level fundraising has yet to recover in the not-for-profit space. And so, how can we look at peer-to-peer fundraising differently with all these tools now at our disposal, all this technology, all these different things? How can we look at it differently and create a new model for peer-to-peer fundraising? So that's just one idea we're looking at. So it's not just about finding the match, but it's about optimizing that power union between the corporate and the charity. So that's the second territory. And the third one is technology. And here we really want to leverage and create new AI and technology solutions to better communicate and fundraise. So some of the ideas that we're thinking about. So everybody, I know a lot of people subscribe to Spotify. At the end of the year, at the end of 2023, I think it might have been in November, early December, they had their Spotify Wrap Day. And this is basically what they did was they created a completely personalized video for each subscriber to Spotify that showed for them what their activity on their app was throughout the year. What artists did they listen to the most? What genre of music did they like the most? What were their top three? What were their top four? How much time did they spend listening to music on Spotify? What about podcasts on Spotify? What about other ways to use the Spotify app? And they summarize this all into a really personalized video for each person. My video was, I think it was about like, I don't know, maybe like 8 minutes long, something like that, maybe 7 minutes long, something along those lines. And my daughter, who's 19, she's at university. She's in a house with 5 other girls. And I happened to be calling on Spotify Rap Day, which I had never really registered before. And her roommates are running around their house, sort of screaming, "It's Rap Day, it's Spotify, it's the Rap Day, it's Rap Day, it's the best day of the year, Mom, it's the best day of the year." And I was like, what the hell is Rap Day? And so I learned about this technology, but this idea of really personalized videos that show you what your what your behavior has been with them. PC Optimum did this from a loyalty program perspective. They didn't do uh, uh, they did this video with this little personalized sort of newsletter telling me about how many points I earned that year, how I redeemed them, what are the things that I bought, all this really interesting way to show you what your activity has been with them. Well, what if we could create videos for our donors that show them how they supported a charity over the past year and the impact that they personally had. Now, that is a very powerful use of that technology that's already out there. The data is already there. You guys have the data in your CRMs. How can we use that to then create personalized videos that really help donors understand their specific impact? This is what younger donors in particular are asking for. I want to know how I helped. Tell me what I did. Give me something that I personally can see I can make a difference on. That could be a very powerful tool for not-for-profits. The other idea is a fundraiser toolbox. One of the questions we are asking ourselves right now is how can technology work with direct mail to innovate the fundraising world? Um, and we're getting some really great data and learnings from our Jam Collective. So how can we use those things to help us create new tools for charities, and not just big charities, but also small charities? So these are some ideas that we're exploring around these 3 territories. And the team that is doing that is so smart. I'm so lucky to be working with them. Working with them and learning from them. So Liz Atfield, who's on the call today, she is a lifetime fundraiser, worked both in the UK and in Canada and in the US on US clients. She is, if it's not worth knowing in fundraising, Liz knows all of it. Steve Thomas is also on our team. Of course, he is the founder of ST, and he's just the goat, right? So there's no more explanation needed for Steve. He's the goat. Sarah Simpson, who's also on this call, is a very experienced marketer. In particular, she has done a lot of CRM marketing in the private sector, for the commercial sector, both consumer and business marketing, and is gonna bring that perspective to the table. We're looking for lots of different angles for this, right? What can we learn from the commercial world that we can bring to the not-for-profit world? Craig Sharma is really an expert on peer-to-peer fundraising and events, event marketing and corporate sponsorship. So he's been doing this for a number of years. He's worked for Heart and Stroke. He's worked for a number of charities in the US, and he's done a lot of work around this and is a great addition to the team, as well as being just a really nice guy. And then last, most of you will know Philip King, who is our king of digital, and we will add to this team as we need to. But this is the diverse team. So, you know, everyone on this team is senior. They have diverse experience. They are capable of solving any problem that you throw at us, as well as any problem that we see out in the industry. I firmly believe, and because I've seen us do it, that we are capable of thinking of things in a different way and bringing some solutions to the market that are innovative, and that are going to give different ways for our charities to think about things. And Steve said, well, all of them could be the goat, not just me. And I said, yeah, but there can only be one goat, Steve, and you're it. So Steve is our goat. Um, so, ready, set, innovate. Let's do this. And I hope this will be like a stampede towards us to find out what we're working on next. There's a few things. Jam Collective, I've talked a lot about. We're registering our new class. It's now open. The co-op envelope, our inaugural mailing, is going to be in November of this year. The spots are open right now. And our innovation revenue acceleration, we're happy to come and talk to you. You can meet the team, find out about ways where you can get early access to what this team is doing, discounts on pilots that we're going to do, like the co-op envelope. Please reach out, and we'd love to talk to you about all of these things. I hope what I have done today is what I really wanted to do was give you a a sense of what we're working on, get you excited about new ways to think about things, and to think about problems that we're having that kind of are dragging us down. But they're actually really amazing opportunities. And so I really hope that I have, sort of maybe put a light under your bushel. Let's just say, let me just say that I hope I've done that today. So it's been lovely to talk to you. I know we've got a few minutes left. I'm happy to open it up now for any more questions.
There is one question in the chat.
Okay. Right, a new model for peer-to-peer and how you see a power union fitting into that. So Mary's asking if I can say more about a new model for peer-to-peer and how we see a power union fitting into that. We see opportunities for corporate sponsorship, for partnership, for peer-to-peer fundraising efforts. Um, It could be something around, for example, one of the things we've been thinking about is skating. Canadians love skating. Is this a way to get people out? Can we look at a partnership with someone like a Skate Canada, for example, and now bring a peer-to-peer fundraising model that comes forward with Skate Canada as an underlying partner to that peer-to-peer event. So but at not just as a, so I guess similar to maybe how a run for the cure might work, but a little bit differently, right? So it is not fleshed out yet. There's no idea here to talk to you guys about yet at this point. We're just we see some opportunities in here, in particular um in particular with partnership with an organization that has that community level participation already, like a Skate Canada, for example. They're across the country. So how can we leverage that to build community, build fundraising, build peer-to-peer fundraising at that community level with a partner like that? So that's just one idea. We have several. I can't really talk about those too much yet. I'm not ready to talk about those yet too much, but that's kind of where our heads are at right now. Thank you so much, Andrew. I'm just reading your comment. This is a very exciting and innovative approach. Good luck and excited to learn more about it. Absolutely. Please, if you're an ST client, you can talk to your account director. They can arrange for a meeting. You can also reach out directly to me. I guess I will put I will put my email address in the chat. Hi. Grathana is asking, is there a cost associated with processing each donation from the mailing? That cost is incorporated in the total cost. So regardless of what your response is, that cost is incorporated within the 30,000. So there'll be no separate cost for that. You're very welcome. So in terms of the COPE envelope, in terms of what we're looking at, we would really like to confirm all the participants all the participants by sort of the end of June, so that we can then get started on production and organizing, letter shop, organizing the gating, the caging, sorry, not the gating, the caging, and get all that set up. So we'd love to set that up for that. So you're asking Sonia's asking, how is today's webinar different from the one on March the 21st? That's an excellent question. So no, Philip and Jessica Tiberio are going to be talking about different things, not about, there's no duplication between the two presentations at all. They're going to be talking specifically about digital, and in particular, digital revenue acceleration. So it will be very different. Yeah. I highly recommend you attend both if you can. Okay. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for your time today. Thank you, Paula. Paula's in the chat, just thanking everybody. She's been here the whole time. It's wonderful to work with an ST team who is just so supportive, so willing to try new things, and really dedicated. Helping our clients raise more money is not just a mission statement. It really is what they breathe, and I think that's demonstrated through all the things that we're bringing out, and the ways that we're thinking about what's happening. So really excited to keep talking and working with you. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm giving you maybe a few minutes left in your lunch hours. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye for now.